Hello, and today we'll be playing the news update for Violet Memoir, and this memoir will continue Leigh's portion of the story. Waking up the next morning, a part of me expected to see that all too familiar decrepit house, but I'm only greeted by the ray of light on my face peeking through beige curtains. The relief that surges through me, the relief that surges through me as I avoid The relief that surges through me as I avoid that reoccurring, the relief that surges through me as I avoid that recurring nightmare. I never thought I'd be so happy to see such plain walls. Relaxing back into the seats, I expected to see Leigh lying next to me, but there's just an empty space. For a moment, I assumed he's just left the room, but that's until I feel a hand on my stomach. Morning, sleepyhead. You looked really peaceful last night. Following his arm, it leads down to between my legs, where I find Leigh peeking through the seats. There's something wild in his eyes that makes my heart skip. Yeah, well, to skip it. Listen to Leigh in the shower in the next room over, the water thundering against the wall. All I can think about is what happened last night. Leigh said he wanted to talk about it he went, before he left, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around what exactly happened. Are my dreams becoming reality, or is Leigh being dragged into my dreams? Then there's the glaring issue sitting in my bag. It's getting hard to ignore that there's been diary entries hidden in all these dreams. Well, there's no use in thinking about it. Better wait for Leigh to come back. As if on cue, the sound of running water stops, and after a couple of minutes, the fur dryer, Leigh reappears in just a towel. After everything the two of us have been through already and how close we've gotten, especially after this morning, it's a little hard to feel shy about seeing him naked anymore. Though that doesn't mean I can't feel the heat rushing to my face. He doesn't waste any time putting any underwear on, but he doesn't fully get dressed immediately like I expected, opting instead to come sit down next to me. His usual motor oil smell is dampened by the earthy scent of his shampoo, a more mature smell that I usually expect from someone our ages. My guess Leigh isn't like the average guy in his 20s. My thoughts must have crept onto my face because his smile wavers and he returns back to his serious expression. Are you doing all right? I hear the word question hidden in his words. Did you have another one of those nightmares? I'm doing better. Just a regular night's sleep. I feel relieving. It feels relieving to finally be able to answer a question like that with something positive. Despite already smiling, I can see him visible, relaxed at the news. He might put on a brave face about all of this, but whatever is going on is terrifying even for someone like Leigh. If anything happens, if anything ends up happening, I want you to text me right away. I don't care if there's something going on and if I'm busy. Okay? Yeah, I understand. It's probably gotten too serious to ignore anymore. anymore, Wallace. Too serious a long this was too serious a long time ago, but I can't fully blame you for that. All of us didn't want to acknowledge it. It's not exactly a normal situation. That doesn't matter. I should have been the responsible one and put my foot down. Look how far things have gotten. We both got pulled into whatever that was. Hey, that's not fair of you. Well, that's not fair on you. We're in this together, aren't we? Wasn't that what we figured out a couple of nights ago? That was about our relationship, not whatever this was. But you're right. As much as I want to be a shit about this, I know that you're right. Kareem would kick my ass if she saw me doing this. Seeing him smile brought one of my own to my face, and I feel like everything didn't feel so awful all of a sudden. It's hard to imagine everything that's going on when it's just the two of us sitting in bed together. Listen, I'm gonna head into work today, but I'm not staying. I'm gonna figure something out with Graham. This shit has gotten too serious for me to just fuck off to work while you're being dragged off to hell. What? But that's your job, Leigh. You can't just leave it. Aren't you already struggling for money? Something about what I said must have sounded funny because he burst out in one of the biggest laughs I've ever heard. From him anyway. Shit, did I really give the impression that things are that bad? I mean, a little. You always seem so concerned about money. You have to work so much while going to class and Wallace, babe, calm down. Hearing him call me babe is enough to circuit my brain for a few seconds, and from the smirk on his face, I can tell that was intended. That was the intended effect. He follows it up with a kiss to my forehead, which is the last remaining structure stopping my face from burning up. Wallace, do I seem like the type of guy who wouldn't prepare for it if I need to take a long break from work? What if I hurt myself or something happened to Charlie? Right, that makes sense. Like I said, I've been working since I was 16 and been saving most of it up. I can handle a week off to figure out whatever is going to fuck on. Think Graham will understand? That old fuck has been trying to get me to take a vacation for years. Honestly, he might try to get in contact with you just to thank you. Are you really that much of a workaholic? Okay, now you're starting to sound like Vicky. I'm doing fine, Wallace, really. I wouldn't lie to you, especially not something like this. Alright, I believe you. Well, while we're here, this might be the time to talk about this. It doesn't really mean anything to you, but Miss Kareem offered me a job at her shelter. Does it pay better? Something like that. That sounds like you're hiding something from me. It's not like that. I just haven't decided if I'm taking it yet. It's a pretty massive deal. Well, we're all dating, right? Shouldn't you talk this over with me to get your thoughts together? I'm not avoiding it because I don't want to talk about it or don't trust you. It's just really complicated. It hadn't even crossed my mind that he didn't trust me with it, but I have to remember that we've only known each other for a short time. We may have connected as quickly as we did, so it's easy to forget that our relationship is still pretty fresh. Miss Kareem, Bethany, asked me to take over for her at the shelter. Like now? No, not now. She wants me to get a degree first. She worded it like a requirement, but she's just looking out for me to have a backup and all that. Do you want to do it? The face he makes doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, but he looks more conflicted than outright uncomfortable with the idea. I'm not sure. It's a lot of responsibility, and I'm supposed to take care of Charlie, not looking out for all these other kids. That's not what I asked. What? I asked if you wanted to do it, not if you thought it was the best idea or if it was the most logical or whatever your mind is telling you to rationalize your choice. I want to know I want to know if that's what you'd like to do, regardless of the circumstances around it. He looks genuinely stumped at my question and doesn't seem to be coming to any obvious conclusion any time soon. I expected him to just put it off for now, but when I shift to get up, he puts a hand on my thigh, sending a little pleasant shock through me as I'm reminded of what just happened between us. But he doesn't look to be thinking about that right now. He looks more thoughtful than ever, and I know he wants me to take this, and I know he wants me to take this just as serious as he is. When I lived there and took care of when I lived here and took care of those kids, it was probably the best days of my life since my mom died. Things got hard and family started to feel like a foreign idea. I had Charlie, sure, but I didn't have much fucking else. But taking care of those kids the way they looked up to me, it felt good. So that's a yes. That's an if it was an option. I like to do it, but it isn't a reasonable thing to do. Why not? If you want to do it and you think it could sustain you, what's the problem? It might be better than what I'm currently doing, but not by much. I couldn't support. Despite my best efforts, I can start to feel myself getting frustrated. It's a feeling I haven't felt in a long time. If anything that happened with Marcus, I made an effort to not get mad at people. But right now I felt upset. That's not fair. What about you? This isn't about her life. It's about yours, you know. If she found out about this, she would be so mad. It's my job. No, it isn't. It's not your job to completely unheave everything for your entire life to take care of your sister. Why not saying it out loud feels like it makes the whole conversation real, and I can feel Leigh stiffening underneath me. I thought he might pull away, but he doesn't. He does go quiet, and we're plunged into a silence that feels like it goes on forever. I can feel the rest of the house and how empty it is. Lily must have already gone to one of her classes. After what feels like an eternity, Leigh finally takes a deep breath. I expected him to be angry, but he just wraps an arm around me, pulling me against him. I know. Huh? I know that, but how could I just leave her to fend for herself after everything that's happened? You're not letting her fend for yourself. You're still helping her and supporting her, but you don't need to revolve your whole life around it. Miss Karinga already gave me this whole speech already. I knew she was right the first time. You don't have to tell me again. I thought he might finally be getting mad, but he just smiles down at me. I hadn't realized it until now, but he's been a lot happier lately, or at least showing it more. Which is actually quite strange considering just how chaotic things have been. Is it because of what's been going on between us? A part of me really hopes it is. Even if that's putting selfish on me. Stop that. He punctuates his point. He flicks my nose and I roll back for a second before covering it with my hand, trying to escape whatever wrath he's giving me. Stop what? You're doing it again. That thing where you start overthinking shit and then doubting yourself. What? How can you tell? I mean, whoever said I was doing that? He doesn't give me a chance to finish my rant as he presses his lips against mine, a deep kiss that leaves my head spinning even after he pulls away. You're adorable, but you might be the easiest to read person I've ever met. You don't hide anything well. I already told you it isn't a bad thing. Can we move on? Actually, I think we should get back on topic. We were talking about all the shit going on. I'm about to head off, but seriously, if some shit happens, call me or message me. Okay? I'm not messing around here, Wallace. I understand. Good, because if it gets worse, I'm doing something I don't want to do, but it would be irresponsible not to. Like what? He doesn't answer me. He just ruffles my head before getting up to get ready for work. I try to prod him for answers, but he just brushes me off, telling me not to worry about it. Naturally, this has a complete opposite effect, but all I can do is trust Leigh. But I couldn't worry about that as I had classes of my own to prepare for. He's about to leave the room, dressed up in his casual attire rather than the uniform I caught him in before. Does he actually, does he always get changed there, or is it because he isn't planning on staying? Wait, that isn't important. Wait, Leigh, what? Do you need something while I'm out? No, I mean maybe, but that isn't what I stopped you for. We never talked about what happened tonight or what we're planning to do about it. A look of annoyance smears across his face, and for a moment I felt guilty for reminding him of the awful situation we're in. Everything felt normal there for just a moment. But Leigh quickly picks himself back up. Said, so I guess we got a little distracted there, lost in the sauce, as Charlie would say. I raised my eyebrow at that, ignored that. Thought I'd try to help. Well, thought I'd try to be hip, and it doesn't suit me. Anyway, how about you get ready and meet me at my job in an hour? Like I said, I want to sort something out with Graham, so it might take a bit. We'll talk about it after that. How your work? Not exactly. I wish I could just ignore it, but staying around here wouldn't do much good. I have an idea where we should go. Might do Jack said, though. I'll be there, and I'll bring the diary too. I knew it would upset him, but it's unavoidable at this point. There isn't any way I can ignore this any longer. Like, you know this is serious, and there's no way the diary isn't connected in some way. I should bring it. I know that. I just really fucking hate that thing. I love you, but I wish you never found that fucking thing. I'm not blaming you. There's no way you could have known what it was, but that thing's bad juju. I think this whole thing has a bad vibe. You can say that again. Listen, I might hate that thing, but you should bring it. We'll talk about it more there. I have a feeling I'm not going to like that conversation. I don't want to agree with him out loud, but there's no doubt in my mind. He's going to absolutely hate this idea, but deep down, I know. That's the best one we got. After taking a shower of my own, and Leigh is gone, and long gone. After taking a shower of my own, and Leigh is long gone, I head into the kitchen to find myself some breakfast. Lily told me that the two of us were welcome to anything we can find. I'm not sure I believe that's entirely true, but I could probably snag some cereal or toast. But I'm surprised to see that I'm not the only one still here. Lily's father is rummaging through the pantry for a second. I think he hasn't noticed me yet, but when noticed me yet until he puts everything down and turns to face me, wearing that same stern glower I'd seen when we first met. Wallace. It's just an acknowledgement of my presence, but it feels like I'm almost compelled to stand up straighter. He must have noticed me tensing up as he relaxes his shoulders and curls his lips into a smile. Just like before, and instantly softens his features. Are you enjoying our guest room? Oh, yes, it's wonderful. Good, we haven't had guests in a long time, and Lily seemed pretty happy to have you. I would have thought she'd have friends over all the time. It sounds like she has a lot of them. He winces, and I can tell I struck a nerve. He doesn't let it, he doesn't let it linger on his face, but I can see he's not as open as he wants. He's not as open as he was moments ago. She prefers to stay with them. Listen, Wallace, I'm going to be heading out soon, so can I rely on you to lock the house? Of course. Do I need a key or? Don't worry, it's just a simple deadlock. You'll just need to twist it before you leave. Was there anything you wanted to ask me before I go? What do you mean? If I'm being honest, last night you looked very uncomfortable. I thought it might have been because of me. I know I have a reputation for being intimidating. Well, that's certainly true. It's a little hard to be scared of him after seeing how kind he can be. No, I'm not done. I quickly discarded that idea. The moments you seemed tense wasn't when you were interacting with me, but whenever you stared off into space. Even he's noticing I do that. Maybe Leigh really does have a point. So, what's the matter? I know I'm not necessarily your favorite choice, but I consider myself a worldly guy. Maybe some advice could help. A part of me wants to jump at this opportunity to throw my arms out and let the adults in my life take care of everything, but I know that's irresponsible. It's not like there's anything they could even do in the first place. After all, what's someone going to do about us getting teleported into a different dimension? Let alone if the diary does have anything to do with it. But some advice couldn't hurt if I keep things vague. It's just a few of my friends, me included, have been wrapped up in something that's a little dangerous, like a gang. But what? No, nothing like that. It's just something between a group of us. Ah, that kind of dangerous. Let me guess. Relationship problems? I know it's you and your boyfriend are very close. Is there some relationship problems? I know what I have. Well, I know what I met. I know where I met my late wife, Lily's mother. She initially met me when I was dating my second boyfriend. That caused some awkwardness between us at first. She was convinced I was gay. It was a complicated time. You're into men? That makes him chuckle, and there's a handsome quality to it that makes my ears buzz. There's a surge of guilt at finding someone else attractive. While in a relationship, I can already hear Lee's voice in my head. What? Just because we're dating, you expect us to not find other guys attractive anymore? Well, us guys are hot, and we can both appreciate them. He's definitely, he's definitely saying something like that. Maybe I should talk to him about Ruben sometime. Would someone like him be Lee's type? He did mention having sex with older men like that. I'm bisexual. I'm pretty fond of most people, honestly, and I'm pretty easy to please. No, this isn't some sort of flirting. I've had one or two of Lily's friends get the wrong idea when I tell them. To be fair, I was married then and I'm single now, but I have respect for your relationship. Wait, does that mean you would have if we weren't? He just chuckles again and the buzz leaves me spinning. Now, I'm not sure if I should bring this up with Leigh or should I definitely bring it up now. What am I talking about? Lily specifically told me to not sleep with her father. This is ridiculous, even if he's. Anyway, now that we're talking, there's no way I can bring up anything that's been going on with her diary. It would sound too insane. But that isn't the only thing I could use some advice on. So I didn't mean to assume anything. No harm. I should have teased you. My apologies. Well, if there isn't anything you need, I should be getting ready for work. Wait, there's one thing I wanted to ask. He turns back to me but doesn't respond, waiting for me to continue. I have a friend. No, Leigh and I are in a strange situation. Well, he is. He's been taking care of his sister for a long time, and because of this, he's had to put his life on hold a lot. He's been giving he's been given a really good opportunity to do a job he loves, but he's not sure if he should take it. He's worried it's going to hinder his ability to help his sister. I see. Cece Young one, correct. Lily mentioned that one of your friends had a younger sister in high school. I assume it's her. That's her. From what Lily told me, she sounds like a fairly independent girl, but I can understand his fear. If what I'm gathering is correct, being the guardian of a child when you're that young can be complicated. When I was dating Lily's mother, she had wanted to be a botanist. She absolutely loved flowers ever since she was a little girl, but we got together young. Not as young as you, well, not as young as the two of you, mind you, but she was still studying and I was in military service. We had Lily not too long, not too shortly after that. I was able to support us financially, but my absence made things complicated. She was forced to put her dreams on hold to take care of Lily because that was a responsibility we had. So he's saying he shouldn't do that? Oh gosh, no. The opposite, actually. Huh? Our situation was complicated, but we still had options. She was determined to not give up her dream. That's why we had our perfect little greenhouse in our garage. We had to make sacrifices, and from the sounds of it, that young man had to make them too. But that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself forever. It sounds like he had. It sounds like he's paid his dues. I think so too. And however, this isn't just a decision you can make. This is something you need to probably talk to him about, and he needs to understand himself. He says he understands that he should go for it, but he's struggling to do it. It sounds like the issue isn't a responsibility at all then. Huh? I've seen some late, well, I've seen some fairly. I've seen some fairly traumatized people through my line of work, and there's something I've noticed. We're dealing with hard circumstances. Guilt is often a powerful motivator, even if it's ill founded. Guilt? I'm not going to say I know anything about that young man's situation, but it sounds like he feels like he's supposed to be taking care of her, even if she doesn't need it anymore. He might see it as punishment or retribution. But why? Calm down. Honestly, I can't truly know what's going on, but from the sounds of it, you're already breaking through to him. Communication, communication can be supportive, and don't forget, this doesn't just concern the two of you. There's another party involved here. Why I keep saying that it's obvious how Charlie would react, but I hadn't really thought about getting her involved. Maybe getting her side will help too. But what will but that will have to wait until we've dealt with whatever is going on with this diary and my nightmares. This is really helpful, thank you. You really don't have to thank me. You only really learn things like this from making mistakes yourself. There's a lot I regret from when I was younger. I still focus more on the happiness of my family and myself. I hate to see someone else make that mistake as well. I'm trying to make up time I missed with my daughter. The time I should have always had. I've been so obsessed with trying to be a provider that I forgot the most important thing. Being a father to my wonderful girl. The look of pride on his face is enough to bring a smile to my face, and I feel a lot more secure about things with Leigh. I hadn't realized how much the two had in common, and he's right. There's no one in a better situation than me to help Leigh get back on the right track. Well, I've wasted more than enough time. Here's one final advice, if nothing else works. Huh? Remind him that his sister is nearly an adult herself, and there's nothing a young adult hates more than feeling like someone else is making their choices. Trust me. A simple one to his body, if there's a grim look on his face. I almost wanted to ask what Lily did to warrant that kind of reaction, but I see the time and realize it's nearly been an hour already. Oh no, I need to meet up with Leigh. I have to go. Thanks for the advice, sir. Don't worry about it, and just call me Ruben. And Wallace, huh? Take your time. It sounds like he's on the way already. Don't push him too hard. I won't. See you tonight. He gives me a final wave before turning back to the kitchen counter while I burst through the door, rushing as quick as I can towards the workshop. I arrive nearly 10 minutes late, but there's no sign of Leigh outside the garage through taking a peek through the side. I can't see him there either, though the polar bear and hyena I met last time gave me a friendly wave. Walking into the reception area, I don't find him, but Vicky perks up the moment he sees me. He looked to be fiddling with what looks to be a tiny toy car, but quickly hides it when he notices my staring. There's a massive smile on the rat's face that almost seems fond of my arrival. I don't know what you did to him, but you might have to run because the moment Graham sees you, he might actually kiss you. But why? Do you know how many times we try to get Leigh to take a vacation? He just gets Graham to pay out his vacation time. Then all of a sudden, you come in and after what, like a week, you're able to get him to stop. You must be crazy in the sack. No way, that's. Oh wow, you're really fucking cute. Holy shit. What? Oh yeah, poor guy had no chance. Listen, there's no need to be coy around here. We're basically family, and there's very little secrets between us. Not that anyone would be able to keep it anyway. It's clear that the two of you are. As Sandal moves behind Vicky and grabs him by the back of his collar, yanking him off of the chair. I expected him to make some kind of reaction, but he just looks annoyed as Graham hoists him to his feet. Despite lacking height, he still got the arm strength to easily toss the rat around. He could probably bench lift the two of us at the same time with how easy that looked to him. Stop harassing the poor kid. Jesus, what's wrong with you? We're just talking. How is that harassment? Isn't that what you're always telling me to be? More sociable with our clients. And that doesn't mean hitting on him. I wasn't hitting on him. I was just making an observation. He isn't even my type. I prefer guys a little more. Oh, oof. He isn't able to finish his sentence, but he's dealing with Graham's elbow in his stomach, causing the poor guy to let out a tiny squeak before crawling back to his chair. Wow, let me guess. Vicky ran his mouth again. You think he learned? Fuck your ass, Leigh. Oh, now you're asking for it. And not both of you. Can't you be a little more mature? I don't know which one he's talking to, and from the glance they share, it doesn't seem like they know either. But eventually, Graham checks up on Vicky, spreading the rat stool around to face him. I didn't actually hurt you, did I? Nah, man, you're fine. Hey, stop fussing over it. Stop. He tries to resist as Graham lifts his shirt over his head and starts running his hands through his stomach for parting it to check for any injuries. I'm barely able to watch for a second before Leigh comes to my side and guides me out of the room, uses the commotion to escape, though from the grin on his face he's more than a little amused by the outcome. It isn't until we're out of weeks that he finally clarifies what he finds so amusing. Don't let Vicky trick you. He enjoys Graham's attention. I'm certain the little shit acts out to get him to pay attention. Not that he needs to. It's clear who Graham's favorite is. Vicky mentioned that he didn't want to work at the front desk, but Graham was forcing him to. He seemed pretty annoyed at that and would have thought it was the other way around. Well, that's true. Vicky's an absolute mess when it comes to that, but Graham always had a soft spot for him, so he let him work the front desk where he could keep track of him. Suddenly, things clicked a little in my head. Wait, are you implying? That brings out a chuckle that lingers in the air before he shakes his head. Nah, not yet anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if things ended up that way, but they're got a professional distance. On Graham's side at least. I've caught Vicky staring a few times, wouldn't be surprised if Graham has to. You think he knows and he's not doing anything about it? Graham ain't the type of man. Graham ain't that type of man. Like I said, he views us as family and not in that silly corporate way. He means it generally. He was there when we needed it. Charlie too. Honestly, I don't know how things would have panned out if he didn't take us in from Bethany. Better than not think about it. We walk around the side of the building, out of earshot of the everyone as Leigh leans back against the metal Wow, he must have realized what we have to talk about because his smile melts off his face. But he waits for me to make the first move, probably in an attempt to put it off a little bit longer. I think we should read the diary just a little bit. Wallace, I know. I'm not going to pretend like this isn't the correct thing to do. I'm not happy about it, and I think we should be cautious about doing it, trying to find out what we can outside of it first. What do you have in mind? If I'm being honest, I don't really like my other plan either. I'm thinking we pay the shelter a visit again. Bethany and the kids there were hiding stuff from us. Might be time to press them. Are you sure? It sounded like you've got a pretty good relationship with them. Are you sure you want to strain that already? It isn't if I'm sure, but if. Leigh, I don't want you to put yourself behind again. You always seem to do that, thinking you need to be the one to take the brunt of things. The discussion I had with Lily's father still lingers in my head. I don't want him to make mistakes that will hurt him because he needs the need to be the one the because he needs to be because he needs to be the responsible one. I wish there was an easier way to go about things. Maybe we should read it now. I could hear Leigh protesting as if the discussion I had with Lily's father still lingers in my head. I don't want him to make mistakes that'll hurt him because he needs to be the one responsible. I wish there was an easier way to go about things. Maybe we should read it now. I can hear Leigh protesting as if well, I can hear Leigh protesting as I pulled the diary out of my bag. I didn't even need to check if I brought it. I just had the feeling that it'll be in there. Just as soon as I pulled it from my bag, a loud slam comes from the room. We just left. It was violent enough that Leigh is standing completely on edge, his attention having completely left me. And since a dread that I can't explain falls over me as Leigh walks back, calling out for Vicky and Graham, but there's no answer. Hurry after Leigh nearly running into him as he peeks through the sliding door. There doesn't look to be anyone inside. No one replies to Leigh as he enters, still calling out for the two of them. I hesitate as I entrance. Two different things catch my attention. The loud sounds that had been coming from the garage since I arrived that I could have only assumed were Leigh's other two coworkers, Colin and Alice. But now there's total silence. The other thing is the door to Graham's office is hanging open as if it had been left like that, except if that door is still open. What door had been slammed? Something about this doesn't feel right. Lee's completely ignorant to my growing discomfort as he walks over to Graham's office, and that dread screams at me that there's something behind that door we shouldn't mess with. I'm not able to get out any words or make it to Leigh in time before he walks in. The door ends up slamming behind him, and the only thing I can do is charge in after him, the diary still gripped tightly in my hand. The moment I step inside, I feel that sense of dread turn into something more palpable. Like the air just got thicker with it, I barely even jump. As the door slams behind me, though I'm not surprised with what I see. My reprieve from the nightmares had been short as I look around. The second story of the house I've become familiar with in my dreams, except this time I'm definitely not sleeping. There's a little more weird going on this time as well. I can't find my bag that I brought with me anymore. Did I leave it outside? I don't remember if I took it off or not after I took the diary out. But looking at my hand, I notice that it's missing as well. Did I leave it in there as well? I could have sworn I probably grabbed it. I don't know what's more uncomfortable, that I can't remember for certain, or the possibility this world might be able to make things disappear. It's like I'm still in a dream. But there's no time to think about that. I took back around the around to the door I just came from, expecting it to look back, expected to lead back the way I came, or into another room. But I hadn't expected to see this. It's the closest that seems to be following me through my nightmares, but there isn't any crying coming from it this time. This whole hallway is completely silent. Trying the door is just as locked as every other time we tried it. Looks like appearing from it didn't unlock it for us like I hoped. But looking over the door makes me notice something that does make my blood run cold. The floor in front of the door are the scratch marks that had been there during our last visit. Whatever made them is likely still around here. Whatever creature we've been encountering, this specific place must be its territory. Maybe that's why it chased them when it found them here. Though I have a feeling it would have chased us regardless. Not wanting to stay here to find out, I start making my way down the hallway. I considered heading back towards the entrance of the house, since there's a good chance Leigh appeared there, but we already know where the exit is. There's a good chance Leigh is already heading this way as well. If things go smoothly, we might be out of here quickly. But that sinking feeling in my stomach only grows as I run my eyes along the stretched out walls. The layout of this house is completely nonsensical, and there's no telling what might happen. I don't know if I missed it the first time we came here, but if we came here due to trying to escape the monster, or if this area of the building always looked like this, but this corner of the house is more decrepit than anywhere else we've seen. The other rooms looked worn down from use and mistreatment. Trash tossed everything without a thought, and the whole place looks desecrated. But this area looks completely different. It took it looks to be in a total state of disrepair, unlike anything I've ever seen. Almost like this part of the house hasn't been visited in decades. The paint has nearly completely peeled off. Dust covers every surface, and the wood has withered away. I tried to recall what this place looked like when we first ran here, but we were in such a panicked state that all I can remember is the desperation and the sound of the monstrous steps chasing us. Walking further along, dust starts building up on the bottom of my feet. The sensation is enough to make my entire body itchy. I'm forced to lift the collar of my shirt to block everything I'm kicking up. Not wanting to be here any longer than I have to, I pick up the pace, taking careful effort to avoid unstable floorboards that look like they're ready to collapse under the first instance of pressure. Despite knowing we're in the lair of whatever creature has been stalking us, there's a level of safety to this place. The dust doesn't look like it's been disturbed at all, not even from our last one through here. I can only hope that means the monster avoids this place, though that begs the question of why. Eventually I come across the door from before. The heaviness that's been weighing down on me feels less than anywhere else in this house I've been. I don't know if it's because this is the exit or because of something else. It looks completely different from the rest of this area of the house. The door almost looks frozen in time. There doesn't seem to be a speck of age on it at all. Somehow it looks like the dust is avoiding it too. The clean metal of the doorknob feels refreshing against my skin after what feels like nearly half an hour of walking on these floors. Pushing through the door, I'm not too surprised it doesn't lead back to reality, but that doesn't stop the sting of disappointment. However, I'm not able to get a good look inside before I hear the sound of a blood curdling roar coming from down the hallway, almost as if opening the door hurt the creature. Thundering footsteps charge toward me, and I consider hiding in the room before deciding that's a bad idea. If opening that door did alert the creature somehow, there's no way it isn't going straight for it. Instead, I run further down the hallway into completely uncharted territory, long since accepted that this place doesn't follow any rules, reality, but this unnaturally long hallway only makes my blood chill further. Especially as the collapse of giant feet on the floor doesn't seem to be stopping. It must have passed the room already and is still chasing me, but I can't regret my choices now. The hallways finally start to change from dusty erosion to something more industrial and incomplete. It feels like I've run into a part of this nightmare that's still being built. I don't have time to appreciate it, but I don't have time to appreciate it, though, as I try to hide down one of the newly available hallways due to many of the walls being unfinished, it is harder to find ways to keep out of sight. But before I can check all my options, it appears looking closer to a feral animal than anything that should be walking on two legs. I'm not even sure it truly sees me, but it barely hesitates for a moment before charging in my direction. Footsteps bound towards me as sweat starts to soak into my fur, the sound of them drowned out by my heartbeat pounding in my ears like a thunderclap. The walls turned into a blur, my eyes only scouting for a way out into a frantic attempt to avoid any of the numerous unfinished hallways. It's only when I notice that I've ran in a circle that I can hear a second of something that brings me on high alert. A moment of pure, absolute silence. Relief starts to pour through me at the thought of finally losing the creature until my eyes notice that my saddle is much larger than it should be. The second ticks by as a weight heavier than I've ever felt collapses onto my back, forcing all the air out of my lungs. My childhood memories of my brother sitting on my back doesn't compare. Hot air brushes my neck as it sniffs over me, the constantly growling loud enough to drown out my own heartbeat. It tosses me onto my back like I'm some kind of doll, nothing more than a toy for it to play with. But it doesn't show any playfulness and is expressing only uncontrollable rage. I can hear the sound of the wood next to my head splintering as claws dig deep into it. I'm forced to get a better look at the monster than I've ever been able to before. The whole thing looks like something out of my worst nightmares with its massive stature and unkempt fur. I thought it might have been wearing a hard hat to hide its face before I noticed something that makes my stomach churn. The protective hat looks to be fused with skin, almost like it's melted into it. But there doesn't look to be any signs of burning. It's like it's part of the skin itself, like it was born this way. Suddenly, the creature shoves its muzzle into my face, sniffing every inch of me with their breath. While their breath suffocates me, it smells like a mix of soot and grime, an unholy combination that makes it difficult to breathe. I instinctively try to slide away, only to be met by a growl so loud it reverberates down the halls, and the loud crash of the monster smashing the floor next to my head, leaving my ears ringing. That's enough to leave me completely petrified, unable to do anything but beg for Leigh to come save me. He's the only one who can save me. No one else could possibly be here. Except he doesn't come. It isn't him who saves me. The creature lurches away, as if it's in severe pain. I expected to see a possum behind him, but there's no one else around and no visible injuries on the creature. He crawls away from me, keeping a distance between us. It tilts its head before driving for me again, and closes my eyes, expecting to be pinned to the floor again. But nothing happens. Opening my eyes, I can see the monster hasn't left but is standing over me. Despite having no visible eyes, I've never felt as still as piercing as this. Not wanting to make any movements, I can only stare back. If we stay like that for what feels like an eternity, before the creature lets out a roar that shakes the building. It doesn't stop as it thrashing around, raking their claws along the way, leaving a gas large enough for a small animal to fit through. I watch the creature cup their head in its hands like they're trying to block out a sound that I'm unable to hear. There's a second where I can feel our eyes meet again, despite despite only being a feeling. There's a lingering sensation of recognition in my brain for only a moment before the creature charges down one of the other hallways, leaving me again barely able to keep breathing as my heart feels like it's about to burst from my chest. That strange feeling that I just felt dissipates as relief overwhelms me, my body completely giving up as I splay on the floor. Despite all the horrors that just occurred, the only thing I can do is laugh. I can't explain why, but for several minutes, the only thing I'm capable of doing is laughing. Everything feels so absurd. I'm finally able to get control of myself again as I climb back onto my shaky legs, making sure to steady myself on the wall. Staring down the hallway, I saw the monster charging down. I can't even hear it anymore. I thought this area was just a giant circle that must have just been my bad sense of direction. One thing that's for certain, this place is much larger than I thought. It might go, it might even go definitively. Something that I can't get out of my brain was that feeling of familiarity, right before that creature ran off. I can't quite place it, but it's almost like I've seen it before, and now it's just in another dream. That thought is put on hold as I hear footsteps getting closer in the distance, but unlike the previous time, these fill me with relief instead of petrifying fear. Dancing around the dart is Leigh, drenched in sweat and looks barely able to breathe. The moment he sees me, he darts over and checks me out, only momentarily stunned by the gas on the wall. Holy shit, are you okay? I'm about to, I'm not able to get a word out before he's all over me, making sure there isn't a strand of fur out of place. Normally, this kind of fussing will annoy me, but right now, I'm just so glad to see him. He doesn't even flinch as I wrap my arms around him, all but driving into his chest. I must look ridiculous clutching onto him like a child to their mother. There's no judgment from him, only reciprocation. You're okay. I got you. I've been searching everywhere for you, and as soon as I heard that roar, I came as fast as I could. Looks like you handled yourself just fine. I hadn't, and he knows that. Let's get out of here. He starts walking us back towards the hallway he came from, back in the direction of the exit door that I already knew didn't lead anywhere. But I didn't stop him. I just wanted to be as far away from this part of the house as possible. Burying myself in his chest further, I completely block out the sight of this place with darkness, engulfing myself in his warmth and scent, the earthy scent nagging my brain before block out any thoughts. Burying myself in his chest further, I completely block out the sight of this place with darkness, engulfing myself in his warmth and scent, the earthy scent nagging my brain before blocking out any thoughts. Right now, I just want to be with him. It isn't until I feel the dust beneath my feet again that I finally pull away from Leigh, finally feeling put together enough to stand on my own. You feel any better? As good as I can be in this place? Yeah, stupid question. No, I appreciate it. Just seeing a friendly face is doing a lot. I knew the question was going to come, and I tried to brace myself. Did the monster find you? Yeah, I've been investigating the door that we left through last time, and it immediately came running for me. This might sound stupid, but I think it might be guarding it. Except there's something weird about it. That catches his attention, but I can tell that it isn't something he wanted to hear. Except there's something weird about it. That catches his attention, but I can tell that isn't something he wanted to hear. I don't think he wants any more complications. The whole area looks abandoned, and I know what you're going to say, but it isn't like the rest of this place. It's like completely undisturbed. That explains why this place is so fucking dusty. It looks like I'm crawling into some old lady's basement. I'm not sure why it would be guarding it. Maybe it's protecting it, even from himself. I know Vicky keeps collector's set he buys in the original package to preserve it. Maybe it's the same thing. It's like a time capsule that's completely different. Don't mind me. Just thinking out loud. But there's something else about that room you should know. I can already tell that this is going to be something I'm not going to like. You're using that gentle tone when you're scared you're going to upset someone. Yeah, well, I don't think that room is the exit. I managed to peek inside for a bit before the monster chased me, and it looked like a regular room in there. I didn't see anything specific, but it didn't look like an exit. Shit, we should still check it out. There might be a way out of this place in there. Just stay close to me. You don't have to tell me twice. He answers with a smile and wraps an arm around me, pulling me close against him. It makes walking a little awkward, but I can tell Leigh doesn't want us to be separated again. It doesn't take us long before we arrive back at the door, still looking as out of place as the first time. Even Leigh looks uncertain before opening the door with a grunt. I can feel him brace me against him just in case something went wrong, but there doesn't look to be anything out to attack us. It just looks to be unbearable. The moment we step inside, it's like a wave of calmness flows through me. I can't quite describe it, but this place, it feels safe. Is that why the monster has been guarding this place? And I'll stop right here. And we'll continue next time. So it looks like this monster is trying to guard this bedroom here. And maybe it has something to do with the bedroom being peaceful, I guess. But this monster here is not really interested so much on just it's not really this angry this angry this ravaging monster that just attacks anything that it sees. It's trying to guard something. And and it seems though both the MC and Leigh are not at the top of its priorities. Its priorities is guarding, I think, this bedroom. I think that's what it is. All right, so in the next video, we'll get to see them read Leigh's. Well, they'll get to read Helena's diary, and we'll get to learn more about Helena and her relationship with her friend. So that's gonna big. That's gonna be a big one. So we also got to see what's her name's father. I forget these characters. It's been a little while since I read this story, but we got to hear her father give the MC some advice, and so he's not so bad. I mean, he's this big, intimidating guy who's very protective of his daughter. But once he starts to trust you, and he's actually not bad. He's actually pretty decent, especially if you're gay. If you're gay, he gets really decent because at least you're not interested in his daughter. I mean, if he was if the MC was straight, was interested in his daughter, then that might have been a different story. But I guess because both of them are gay, Leigh and the MC, he's found it. A big reason because they're not interested in his daughter. All right, so we'll continue next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Bye.